Hello guys, and we're here today with another very interesting video. This deck hasn't made any waves or anything like that. This is just a deck that I feel will actually be very strong this format. This is Harpies, specifically Destruction Harpies. We're running as many destructive cards as possible in this deck, so that way we can just get rid of the back row, get rid of the triple notice, get rid of the warning, and then also be able to get rid of their scale. So this is a deck that I think is just by coincidence going to be very good this format. So let's just go in, triple Harpie's Pet Dragon. You can easily summon them with Harpie's Chandler and go for your rank 7 plays. Harpie Queen is a terraforming, besides that she's a 19 beater for Harpie's Hunting Ground, so that's a very useful, just being able to get any card, getting that very important card from your deck. And a Harpie or Harpist is really good if it is sent to the graveyard during the end phase. You can add one level 4 Wing Beast type monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to hand, such as Chandler or Dancer, so that's very useful, being able to get to those monsters. As well, if this card is normal summoned, you can target a Wing Beast monster other than that card, and one face-up monster your opponent controls and return them to the hand, so it's really good for getting rid of extra deck monsters if you want to go that route. And then Harpie Chandler, probably the most important Harpie monster in the deck, will allow you to discard a Harpie card and then special summon a Harpie monster from your deck in face-up attack position, and its level becomes 7 while there's a Dragon type monster on your side of the field. So that is definitely very useful with making rank 7 plays. If you can take an Infinity, that's really good after you negating it, whether you use like a Twin Twister or you do something else and you're able to negate it, such as an Icarus, get him to waste the effect. And then Harpie Lady 1 is our target for Elegant Egotist. It allows all wind monsters to gain 300 attack, and this does stack, so you can easily, if you have all 3, then they will gain 900, so that can be very useful, especially when you put it on top of a Harpie Queen or a Harpie Harpist, which has 1700, so that could really help increase your attack. Harpie Dancer. Harpie Dancer is really great for just getting rid of your opponent's cards. Target a wind monster you can... It's not that, it's pretty much you can target a wind monster and then return it to hand, and then you get an extra normal summon of a wind monster, and that will trigger Harpie's Hunting Ground again to pop more back row. So you summon her, you pop back row, you return it to hand, summon out another monster, pop back row. And then Instant Fusion, because Nodin is pretty decent in this deck, help making us rank 4 plays. Regeki, and then Foolish Barrier to send the Harpie Harpist, so that way we can get more searches during the end phase. 2 Elegant Egotist, because Hysteric Sign will also add from graveyard, so if you really need this card, Elegant Egotist can easily search it or add it back to graveyard. And more than likely you're going to draw into one of these cards, and if you do normal summon or have to discard it for Chandler, then you cannot summon it with Elegant Egotist, so I'd rather run 2. Twin Twister. Twin Twister is a really good card to just get rid of cards from your hand to discard them, which can trigger multiple effects such as Hysteric Sign. Hysteric Sign is if you activate it as a continuous spell, pretty much you gotta add an Elegant Egotist, that's it. But if you send it to the graveyard, during the end phase, add up to 3 Harpie cards with different names from your deck to your hand. So that can be Chandler, that can be Queen, and that can be Harpist, allowing you to set up for popping one back row, using Chandler to summon out another Harpie card. So really good. And do note you can only use one of those effects. And if you have nothing better to pop with Harpie's Hunting Ground, you can of course pop Hysteric Sign to get its effect. Harpie's Hunting Ground though is the big field spell of the deck. It's really what makes the deck so destructive, and being able to stand up 2 pendulums is one against all Winged Beast monsters gain 2 attack, so that's really useful. When a Harpie Lady is normals or special summoned, the player can connect to summon targets one spell or track it on the field and destroys that target, so that I can get rid of your opponent's back row, get rid of their pendulum zones. Really easy. I mean, if you open up with Dancer and Chandler, that's an instant 3 pops you can get off, no questions asked. And so, I mean, you wouldn't be going for the rank 7 play, you would end up going for the rank 4 play by summoning out one of these other cards, because if you summon Harpie's Pet Dragon, it will not trigger Harpie's Hunting Ground. But if you do summon out Harpie's Pet Dragon, you can of course make Dracosack to pop something. And then of course we have Icarus Attack, really useful, just getting rid of a Wing Beast monster to select 2 cards on the field, such as your opponent's Pendulum Zone or maybe some back row that they just set that turn during the end phase. Really useful. And then this card, this card is just kind of amazing. Discard 1 card, such as this card, summon as many copies of Harpie Lady as possible from your graveyard. These cards are all treated as Harpie Lady besides Harpie's Pet Dragon, all of these monsters are treated as Harpie Lady while they're in the graveyard. So pretty much you can summon at max 5 monsters. More than likely you're going to be summoning 3 or 4 because you're going to have some monsters already on your field, such as a Draco Sack or something like that. So just being able to flood, so this is pretty much your pendulum summon. You're just getting one mass pendulum summon, not an inherent summon, so they can't notice it. They can of course warning Hysteric Party. So it's just really good just being able to go for this, because that can instantly be a free Infinity or some other rank 4, such as maybe double Chidori. Your opponent just get rid of even more stuff. So definitely Hysteric Party is really useful, just besides the fact that it's triggers Hysteric Sign and Harpie Harpist. And then of course 3 notices and a warning. Well, so that way we have even more destruction. I mean, this is pretty generic and this deck has no problem with life whatsoever. And so that is it for the main deck. Again, you're just pretty much trying, you want to have Harpie's Hunting Ground so that way when you make your normal summons, you can just pop stuff over and over and over again. Just get rid of those notices, get rid of those stuff. Use of course, you want to use Twin Twister first. I mean, this deck, there are some really good normal summons, but I mean, if you have Chandler, Twin Twister, and a Harpie Harpist, you have to choose between using Twin Twister or using Harpie Chandler. That's if you don't have any other Harpie card, you will have nothing to discard. But if you have a Hysteric Sign, then that makes it really easy. And Hysteric Sign is a really good card because with Twin Twister and Icarus Attack, if you have nothing better to target, you can always target Hysteric Sign. So if there's just one card you want to pop with Icarus Attack, well, then you can pop Hysteric Sign. Or Twin Twister, well, it does say up to, so you can get away with popping one card. If you really wanted to, you could pop Hysteric Sign as well, so that way it gets its effect off. And so that is it for the main deck pretty much. Now into the extra deck, of course, we're running the Nodin for the instant fusion. Just helps with making our rank 4s. 2 Draco Sacks. I mean, this is Destruction Harpies, so I see no reason why not to run 2 because this is just a really good destruction card. Big Eye, of course, and then of course the Infinity and the Nova and then the Ptolemos all the way at the end there, just so that way we can get rid of monsters. Not necessarily destruction, but it does negate and destroy though. It does negate and destroy. And then, of course, Dark Rebellion, Ragna Zero, just a whole bunch of generic rank 4s. This card's very useful. It requires 3, so either you go for Infinity or this card. And it allows you to attack directly. And it cannot be targeted for attacks or effects while it has XYZ material. And then during each of your end phase, you detach 3. So you can get off 6,000 damage just by attacking directly with him. And he's really hard to get around, really hard to play around. So that can be a good card to just constantly beat your opponent down with, especially if they've used a couple of notices, whatever. You can just get that life punch really low. And then of course, Zero Fiend's really good. If you have access to this card, that's really nice. You can detach an XYZ material, negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent controls, and it gains standard attack for each face-up card currently on the field. And so that's just being able to negate the field is really useful. It tends to gain a lot of attack, putting it up to 3,000. So that's helpful, definitely. And then Castell, 2 Chidoris is very useful. Getting rid of 1 backrow and then making opponent top deck a card helps out a lot. And then Ptolemos is of course a thing. And if we are not running Utopia the Lightning because that card will be coming out in March, and I want this to stay somewhat relevant to right now with Bosch coming out in a couple of weeks. So this is a Harpie deck. I mean, it's Destruction Harpies. Again, the discard, there is a downside to this deck, is like when Harpies were really big, they ran a Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, so that way they had an easy ability to discard Hysteric Sign. We do not run many discard outlets that can actually get rid of Hysteric Sign. We only have Hysteric Party and Twin Twister, but I wanted to focus more on destroying cards and on putting them back on the top of the deck. If you really wanted to, you could switch out the Icarus Attack with Rogeki Breaks, but then you only get a pop 1 card. And so I feel that's a little bit too much of a minus. Even if you were to discard Harpie Harpist or Hysteric Sign, I feel it'd just be better to have the Icarus Attack and being able to pop 2 cards. I feel that's way better. So definitely tell me guys what you think of this deck. Do you think this deck can stand up to Pepe? We've been going over a lot of different decks that can go over and beat Pepe, and of course the next deck profile you guys will see this week will be Pepe itself, because the decks are going to be out pretty soon. It won't be that much longer until OCG has become the TCG. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys later. Bye.